the gladiator mentality, and people look at us like, okay, really? Or, yeah, really.
All right, let's do this. Diamond Envy Podcast. I'm your host, Tyler McComas. Diamond Envy, as always, brought to you by Havens Group. Check them out, havensgroup.com. There will never be another Big 12 road series in the history of OU softball. It feels so weird to say that, even though I knew I would be saying that on Sunday, but it's true. OU softball will never play a Big 12 road series ever again because after the 3-game sweep of UCF on the road, that's it. That's it for OU in terms of Big 12 road series ever because, of course, the team is off to the SEC, but just one Big 12 series left. It's against Oklahoma State at home. So how did you want to go out in your final Big 12 road series ever? Well, you wanted to look good and you wanted to dominate, right? And I think for the most part, OU really achieved that this weekend. 3-game sweep on the road in front of a pesky UCF squad that's pretty good, able to do some nice things. I think overall a really good weekend. Interested to hear from you guys on what you thought of the 3-game sweep over UCF. But hey, you go out there on the road like that and you beat a team in front of a crowd like that. Well, I say in front of a crowd like that. Somebody pointed out, many of you pointed out how many OU fans that were there in Orlando. Not that it's surprising anymore, but it's still incredible. Like the biggest home series for UCF maybe ever, and there still looks like an OU home game out there. That's how deep the Sooners roll when it comes to the world of softball. All right, but let's get to it. Look, today's game, Sunday's game, as I'm recording, a lot of good there, especially on the offense. But I think most of you know what my big takeaway from this weekend is going to be. It's Kierston Deal, guys. Did OU find its true number 2 pitcher this weekend? Yeah, I think they did. I think Kierston Deal has shown enough now to where you can confidently go into next week's Bedlam series and say, Kelly Maxwell's our number 1. Kierston Deal's our number 2. We'll start Kelly Maxwell on a Friday night, and then we'll roll back with Kierston Deal on Saturday night. And I know I've been pointing this out a lot. It's a storyline that I've been monitoring more than anything else, and I really, really hope Kierston Deal would come out this weekend and prove that she is on an upward trajectory and she's ready to take over that role as the true number 2 arm for this team. I was really hoping that would be the case. Guys, that's the case right now. 7 innings pitched on Saturday, just 2 hits, no earned runs. The only run that was allowed on Saturday was that the error off who was it? It was Hodge, Avery Hodge is who it was. That ends up scoring, but it wasn't an earned run. So Kierston Deal has another start where she hasn't allowed an earned run. And what is that, 3 consecutive now? And if you didn't hear the episode from last week against Tulsa in front of a lot of OU fans in the midweek on a Tuesday night, and then you did it at home against Houston in front of a lot of OU fans on what was that, a Sunday, right? And then now the next step was to, okay, now go on the road and do it in front of a somewhat hostile environment and show that you can do it in a conference series. And she did that. Like, she continues to get opportunities and she continues to pass these tests, if you want to call them that, with flying colors. And I say that now, Kierston Deal's OU's number 2 pitcher. Clearly, Patty thought that was the case going into this weekend. You know, I mean, she got the second start of the weekend. She got that Saturday start. And no, maybe that's not always indicative of who your 1, 2, and 3 pitchers are, especially with this program that has so many arms. But Kierston Deal wouldn't get a whole lot of Saturday starts this year. Unless my memory is totally thrown off, Kierston Deal hasn't gotten a whole lot of Saturday starts. And before she was on this run, wouldn't get a whole lot of weekend starts either. We've talked about that multiple times. But she gets an opportunity on a Saturday. And it's almost like Patty even told her. You know, I'm sure she didn't say this to her face, but it's almost like Patty told her in a way of, I'm going to start you on Saturday. Like, here's your Saturday start. Here's your opportunity. You go run with it. You go throw another great game, and you're the number 2 pitcher moving forward. And I think that's where we are here on this Sunday. And what a great time for this to happen. Like, ideally, would this be the Kierston Deal that we saw from game 1 at the start of the season? Sure, yeah, but like, here's where the games get most important. We kind of see a pitcher seemingly every single year really rise to the occasion at this time of the year, and that's what she's done. And I love that she had such a great outing on Saturday. And it's not like she was really ever to relax. Like the offense only put up 2 runs. Like that game was close all the way through. And Kierston Deal had to have one of the best starts of her career for OU to win that Saturday game. And that's what I love so much is not a whole lot of run support. Didn't have a chance to relax. She really had to stay dialed in that game, and she was fantastic. And even adversity hits late in the game when an error leads off the inning and that run ends up scoring, but she ends up shutting it down. So really, really happy. How could you not be very, very happy for Kierston Deal? Not just for the now, because it's big for this team. You've got 2 legitimate arms right now. That's good for the now. But for the future, after Kelly Maxwell's gone, who's going to be that number 1 arm? Kierston Deal. I mean, the way that she's pitching right now, let's see what she does throughout the course of the rest of the regular season and the postseason. Like, we may just be scratching the surface on great things Kierston Deal does this season. I mean, seriously, maybe. I mean, Kelly Maxwell is going to get the most of the opportunities. But Kierston Deal is going to be put in some big spots in Bedlam, Big 12 tournament, all the way through the postseason. And it's like she's getting better and better and better, start in and start out. And maybe that continues. I'm really excited to see, regardless of what happens here. I think that she's going to continue to get better and better because her confidence is just through the roof right now. And when you hear Patty talk about her, it's like she's kind of all about the right things and just doing the right things to prepare her for great starts like this. I think in some ways, she wants the rest of the team to kind of model what Kierston Deal is all about and what she's doing right now. So just really impressed. I just got a ton of belief in her right now. And that's 3 consecutive starts with 0 earned runs, correct? Had to battle. She's ready to battle. She's your number 2 arm moving forward. And this team looks really confident. And I think it's its best when Kelly Maxwell's in the circle. How many times you've heard me say this? I think OU's the best team in the country when Kelly Maxwell's in the circle. My question has been, are they the best team in the country when Kelly Maxwell's not in the circle? Well, pretty dadgum good when Kierston Deal's in the circle. And ideally, you'd have Nicole May pitching her best, and you'd feel good about Peyton Monticelli, and you'd feel good about Carly Keeney going into the postseason. But if what you have right now is all you have going into the postseason, OU's still going to be a really, really tough out in this thing if you got Kelly Maxwell and Kierston Deal as your 1-2 starters, because that's going to be tough to beat. In terms of 1-2 starters right now in the sport, the way things currently sit, it's about as good as it gets in college softball. It's about as good as it gets. And I love that the team now, I know they didn't put up a lot of runs, but they're seeing the way that she's performing. That's going to impact the rest of the team, just the overall confidence they have when she's in the circle. But I mentioned the number 2. How about the number 1? Kelly Maxwell dominates again on Friday night, and you just know that she will. Every single start, you know that's going to happen. Like, there's no doubt about it. I mean, there was a time early in the season where you didn't think she was going to go out there and give up 8 runs or anything, but all right, what do we get from Kelly Maxwell today? What's going on here? Now it's like a definite. She's going to go out there every single game, not only give you a chance to win, but be the main reason why you end up winning a softball game. 10-2 win on Friday night. I love that this team separated in the top of the 7th, and they were already in a really good spot, but it's one of those where, all right, top of the 7th, we just got to shut them down, 3 more outs, and we're going to take game 1 of this. I love the fact that they pushed that lead to 10-2 like they did. Very important, very big. I just think those are things that Patty wants to see. Like, doesn't matter how many runs you have, doesn't matter how many runs you're up. At top of the 7th, an opportunity, go take advantage of it. Go put a few more runs on the board and really put that game out of reach. And those types of things are things that we've been waiting on for this team to really step on the throat and just totally put the game away. And they did that on Friday night, and I really, really like to see that. So it's just kind of a small footnote in the entire weekend, but I really wanted to highlight that I loved what they did in the top of the 7th inning on Friday night. Getting some runs across, not just relaxing and saying, our pitching staff will take care of it at the bottom of the 7th. All good. We got them like a 4 or 5 run lead, whatever it was at the time. All good. We'll just swing at some pitches here. We'll go out to the field for the bottom of the 7th inning, and we'll get out of here on a Friday night and get ready for tomorrow for game 2. They put it out of reach, and I like to see that. That's a whole mentality right, that this program's had for a while. And I think this team's been searching for it, but just wanted to highlight that because I really like to see it. And then, of course, on Sunday, a lot of you like the way that this team battled on Sunday, and I'm right there with you. I don't love the 7 that UCF put up in Game 3, but I do love the 11 runs that OU had, and I do love the fact that Kinsey Hansen hit a 3-run bomb, much needed. I love that Ella Parker hit a 2-run home run. I love that Cassidy Pickering hit a mammo bomb today. I love the offense that OU had early and often throughout that game. I like the way that they battled as well. So I saw a few comments, the score isn't indicative of how that game was. And yeah, that's probably the case. It's a win. It's a series win. And you win that game 11-7, and you do it this time behind really good offense. So I think just overall this weekend, it had a lot of things that you want to see. It had a game 1 where you got out ahead offensively behind a great pitching performance and then pushed the lead to where it couldn't be touched in game 1. That was good. You had a game in game 2 where you have a rising star in the circle and she leads you to victory. She pitches you to victory in that game. Like to see that as well. And then you had a game 3 where the offense really carried you to a win. So in a lot of different ways, they were able to win 3 different times this weekend. And I don't necessarily hate that. I definitely don't hate that the offense was really kind of the main storyline in a couple of those games this weekend. Definitely like that storyline moving forward and hope that that's the case. I mean, I think it's the offense that was the story on Sunday. If not, it was Brito and Jada making incredible plays. Jeez, Brito in the hole, full extension, great throw to first base. Like, people get caught up in the actual play itself, the full extension, and that part of it's great, but it's hard to make that throw too. Like, that's the underrated part of that play is a throw that she had to make on that play, and she made it. And better be Sports Center top 10. That's all I'll say. And of course, only raindrops fall in center field when Jada Coleman's out there, and I'm not even sure those fall. Maybe she robbed those as well. Made a play on the warning track today that was spectacular. Defense, you can always count on it. Offense, we've been questioning it a lot this year. Pitching's been pretty solid. You can count on that defense pretty much game in and game out. Brito's so good at third base. Gosh, she's so good. And I don't know if we fully appreciate just how good she is defensively. Because if I bring up Alyssa Brito, I feel like to a lot of OU fans, the offense is probably what would come up first. That defense is special. She's a special defensive player. And there's a reason why Patty said at the beginning of the year, she's just too good at third base. I can't take her out of third base. I may want to try her at short or somewhere else, but she's too good at third base. And of course, the GOAT makes a fantastic call on that, because if there's a better third baseman out there right now in college softball, I sure haven't seen her. I haven't seen that yet. Speaking of the GOAT did GOAT things once again. Congratulations to Patty Gasso on becoming the 3rd coach ever to win 1,500 games. 3rd coach ever. Been a lot of coaches in college softball. A lot of coaches who have coached at the same place for a long time. And Patty Gasso is just the 3rd ever to win 1,500 games. That's GOAT stuff right there. And it'd be pretty awesome if she ends up as the all-time wins leader. Because I think that, and I'd love to get a national perspective on this at some point. Because there's some great coaches out there in the sport historically. I wonder where Patty would rank right now in terms of greatest head coaches. I made the argument last year that I think that she's the GOAT right now. Like, there's some other great coaches, and I think there's still some coaches, right, that have won more national championships than her. And my whole argument was, well, let's look at how competitive the game is now. Let's look at the era that Patty is dominating now compared to those other coaches. And no disrespect to any of those other coaches out there, but come on, it's the most competitive era the sport has ever seen, and it's miles away, just up and down, more competitive than it was 20, 25 years ago. I think OU is a big reason because of that. But if you dominate the way that OU is dominating right now in the toughest era, the longest winning streak, the three-peat, just everything they've done, I think she's the GOAT already. She may not have the most wins. She may not have the most national championships. She may get there someday, and this is a slam dunk answer. I'd be interested in what the national people were to say, like where she kind of ranks in that discussion. But to me, like, I'm not even trying to be a homer here. I think that she's the greatest softball coach of all time because of the era in which she's won and the length of dominance that she's had. You win a championship in 2000, your first one, and then look where we're at in 2024 right now. I mean, that's we're going to end up being at 25 years. I guess we could already be at 25 years of just pure dominance. I mean, it's insane. She's the GOAT of all time. But overall, good weekend. No, it wasn't perfect by any stretch. I still think there's areas where this team can get better. Like, definitely want to see better things from Nicole May moving forward. Kelly Maxwell in relief, a little bit better as a starter right now. Maybe she is in relief, but she will be used in relief, I think, moving forward. And earlier this year, she had some really good outings in that closer role, and I got confident. Anytime 28's in the circle, it's all good. All good. Things will take care of itself. I know you'll be in really good shape here. But overall, good weekend. Really good weekends. And just excited for next week. It's Bedlam. Bedlam in Norman, Loves Field. That place is going to be insane. Place is going to be insane. Hey, I wanted to give a special shout out here. Try to shout you guys out as much as possible because I'm genuinely thankful for how much you guys support the Diamond Envy podcast. But my guy, John Bowers, I mean, thank you, John. Tweeted at me on Sunday morning. I'm out in my neighborhood. The OKC Memorial Marathon runs right through the neighborhood. And then I see this tweet from John. It says, it's as if at Tyler McComas knew what was going to happen on Saturday when he recorded this last week. Excellent job. John, thank you. Thank you for putting that out. Thank you for supporting. Thank you for listening. Thank you for listening to my take on Kierston Deal. She made me look smart. I'm not a smart man. I'm not. But Kierston Deal made me look like a smart man this weekend. Me saying, here's her opportunity to be the legitimate number 2 arm on this team. And she performed. She performed this weekend for sure. But no, I always appreciate when you guys support the podcast, share the podcast, do all that. And if you're watching on YouTube, please like, subscribe, share, do all of that. And just appreciate you guys. Appreciate you guys. I'm going to have fun here. This is the most fun time of the year. Of course, like your last Big 12 series is over. It feels weird to say. Your final Big 12 home series is coming up. And OU will not play another game outside the state of Oklahoma for the rest of the year. How about that? Play a game in Norman. Play in Oklahoma City. Play in Norman a couple of series. And hopefully you're back in Oklahoma City for the Women's College World Series. But here it is. Here's what we wait all year for, guys. This is it. Best time of the year. Best, month of the year? A little over month and a half or so coming up next. Can't wait for it. Can't wait for it. And I hope you guys are alongside for the entire journey. All right, that'll do it for me on this Sunday. Thank you for listening on a Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, whatever you're listening. Doesn't matter. Maybe listening from a year from now, whatever. And maybe my Kierston Deal takes look even better. Maybe in a year's time, we're talking about KD being one of the best pitchers in the SEC and in college softball. I think where she can go here moving forward is really exciting. But I'll talk to you next week right here on the Diamond NV podcast. I'm your host, Tyler McComas. Talk to you next week.